Okay, next question. We'll do it pretty quick here. This has to do with alcohol sales after midnight. The city commissioned a report from a consultant, and that report was basically to analyze the downtown, the effects of alcohol and how much money is being made for the city on this. And what they came up with is over a year basis of operating all hours in the year, the city made I think it was 3.9 million in profit or cash, but the costs were about 3.6 million. So there was a total positive benefit of $300,000. But when this same report analyzed sales after midnight, the costs were $300,000 higher over the year. So we have $300,000 additional costs, policing costs and all other costs involved in this to operate, have these alcohol outlets operate. So that's $300,000 a year. I'll get to the question. How significant a problem is alcohol-related crime in the downtown area after midnight? Do the positive impacts outweigh the negative impacts of alcohol sales after midnight in Hermosa Beach? Do you ever see alcohol sales after midnight being a big moneymaker for the city of Hermosa Beach? And that'd be for Stacy.
Thank you, Al. Alcohol-related crime is a problem in town. We had 3 of our officers assaulted in our downtown last November, and that was a huge wake-up call for me personally, for our city, and for our city council. I've been working with our city manager, our chief, and the mayor on developing a comprehensive plan for our downtown that will be presented in the next bunch of weeks. Snapshot of that is we will need better lighting throughout our downtown, our alleys, our parking lots, and our parking structure. We need a cleaner downtown. We need better options for trash pickup. We need an aesthetically pleasing downtown that makes people think twice before urinating or vomiting in our plaza streets or our parking structure. We need to continue to supplement our police officers with security officers until we can fill our vacant police officer positions and get our arms around the crime that occurs in our downtown. And we need to continue building that relationship between the city and our hospitality association to make sure they know we all play a part in the solution. As far as the bars being viewed as a moneymaker, the facts are in. It's a push at best. But we want people to be able to go out and have a good time. We also want to curb that behavior of trashing our downtown, inciting violence on other patrons and on our police officers. But this wasn't a problem that was created overnight, and it's not something we can look to solve overnight either. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Stacy. Matt?
Thank you, Al. I believe the alcohol-related crime in the downtown area after midnight is significant. I live in the downtown area. I live on Pier Avenue. I regularly walk down there at night to observe because I really want to truly understand this problem. I believe we have a criminal element in the downtown area that consumes alcohol to make alcohol-related crimes, but I think first and foremost, the problems are being created by the criminals, the criminal element who are drinking alcohol versus the alcohol is causing these criminals to become criminal. And the second part of your question is, as far as alcohol sales after midnight, is a big moneymaker for the city versus maybe from the 9 p.m. to the midnight. Unfortunately, these are not mutually exclusive statistics. I believe the alcohol sales for after midnight are really, the alcohol sales from between 9 and 10 and 10 to midnight depend on having alcohol available after midnight. So it does affect the businesses. So, and that was the reason why we ended up passing Measure B or not passing Measure B, is because alcohol sales after midnight are necessary to have a thriving business prior to midnight.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Mary?
Yes, thank you. I agree with everyone who's spoken that we have a significant problem in our downtown. We have crimes going on that are not only, it struck me on my ride along just how sort of out of step it seemed to be with the waking days in Hermosa Beach. It's fascinating dynamic. Does the money raised outweigh the cost? Not really. Stacey Armato spoke to that just now. I won't say more about that, but again, there's not a quick fix, and we do want people to have fun. I think I've been listening all night. We've touched on this enough and kind of have an evolved thought. Mr. Tucker keeps talking about the beach culture, And I completely get it. I mean, it's actually causing me to think more about the beach culture and what it is and all that it is, and certainly all that we want our beach culture to be. But I'm kind of coming around to the fact that it doesn't necessarily mean that Hermosa Beach forever has the branding that this is the place that everybody comes and gets kind of stupid drunk and then trashes our town, because I saw it firsthand and it was shocking. There's a lot we can do to make it better now, and I think we should, but I'm also interested long-term in figuring out if we want to take this story somewhere else. Thank you.
Thanks. Haney, you're up.
So I think everybody here has already addressed the issue that we agree that there's a problem downtown. I'm not sure of the midnight significance, but there's a problem downtown on the weekends, usually associated with alcohol and drinking. I've driven with our police officers on Friday and Saturday nights before, and I've seen them dealing with the intoxicated individuals. There was, scenarios where I've seen where people were just carrying. People are just completely passed out in downtown, and because of our resources, the police weren't even prompted to call an ambulance. Like, well, they'll just get over it. A lot of people throwing up, a lot of people getting arrested. So it's a ongoing problem. We've already talked about the subcommittee of Councilmember Armato and Mayor Massey that are working on this with our police department, so we're looking forward to their results. We've also hired a security company to help address this issue. And again, I don't know that the midnight time frame is an issue. I agree with what Mr. McCool mentioned, that I think for a business to close at midnight, it's going to impact the business's profitability. So I'm not in favor of having businesses shut down at midnight, because I don't think that's a critical issue, as long as all the other issues are more appropriately handled. I'm not opposing to having businesses that are currently only allowed to open till midnight under your CEP apply for a CEP modification to the Planning Commission, as I mentioned before, in response to another question.
Summarize.
And then to the last question that Al mentioned about, do I believe that sales after midnight has a big money maker? No, I don't think so. And I think a lot of people don't understand this, that the sales tax that we get out of the sales tax is 1 cent to the dollar. We don't get the 9 or 10 cents. So I did a quick numbers. For $1 million of sales after midnight, the city gets all of $10,000. So I don't think that's a money maker, and I don't think we'd be making any decisions based on money making about selling alcohol after midnight. But again, as I mentioned, for a business to be operable and profitable, you can't have people come in and says, well, we're going to shut you down at midnight. You have to go home. You have to have longer hours for some of these businesses downtown to be profitable.
Thanks, Haney. Trent?
Yeah, I'm very concerned about alcohol-related issues down on the pier after midnight. I think everyone in this town, if they could pick one thing that we can all kind of agree on, is that we'd like to see the downtown-related alcohol issues be mitigated to virtually none. But I'm not so sure that's possible. So what we want to do is reduce them. And all of the things that, a lot of the things that have been talked here tonight would help that. Additional security guards, that would be private security guards. Additional lighting, that's something visible and usable that I would definitely support. Other things that we could use down on the pier to make it more safe. I keep going back to the cruiser in the middle, but also working with the business owners. They're very concerned about this because they understand that the community, and we talk about this in the debates, and we talk about it in a lot of different places, don't want that kind of element chewing up and tearing up our downtown. So I think greater enforcement is in order. I don't think there is a process in place by which you can change cups, CUPs. So that's there, that's available. The business owners know that, and they feel that they have to do right in order to keep their license the way that it is. So I think the more light we shed on the subject, and I do mean light, actual light down there on the pier, will make it better. Okay.
Thanks, Trent.
Thank you.
Okay, Pete?
Thank you. It's interesting how we pick midnight as when it all really happens. It probably really starts about 10 o'clock, and by midnight, that's when it kicks in. So it's just an ongoing thing. Picking midnight, I think, is just, it sounds good maybe, because it's the next day after midnight. But We've always had a problem down there. It's, like I've stated earlier, it's a culture, and we have that reputation. And I think that what we were doing over the 4th of July really curtailed a lot of those problems. We took a tough stand and said, you can come down to Hermosa, have a good time, but if you have parties at your home and we respond twice, we're sending you the bill. Overnight, all these problems went away. So somehow maybe we could take that kind of strategy and use it downtown. Most of the establishments down there, they meet with the police chief and everything. They're doing everything they can, but we can't control the human element of what comes down there. The Coastal Commission, I remember one time I went to a meeting, city wanted to close their pier area, and the Coastal Commission says, absolutely not. It has to have coastal access. And they were having crimes and more crimes, and Coastal said, we don't care. But it is a problem there. Are we making a lot of money out of this? Absolutely not. We could use our resources somewhere else. Our police are overwhelmed down there. They're really being put in harm's way along with our fire department personnel. And what the answer is, I think if you could find that magic bullet, you would win this council seat up here unanimously. Everyone would vote for you, but it's a problem that we have to try to figure out how to do something that we can get maybe, they have dress codes down there at the bars and restaurants, so we thought that would help. That doesn't seem to help. So it's a real problem. It's just a cultural problem that somehow we have to figure out how to stop the problem.
Okay.